intonation again refers to how you stress on certain aspect of what you're saying, so that the other person can actually show and build interest in listening to what you're saying. Now, it is one of the key elements of pronunciation in spoken language, and it plays a crucial role in conveying meaning, attitude, emotion, and emphasis on the communication. You might have also experienced this yourself while having a conversation with a friend over a call. When you explain yourself, you have different emotions as well. When you are excited, it exudes in your voice. When you are sad, the other person can tell by just hearing your voice. When you are happy, if the person really knows you well, can understand that you are in a state of extreme euphoria just by listening to what you're saying. Why? And here the part of intonation is very crucial, because the way you speak, um, like it emotes your emotion, and hence it makes the communication very smooth, and the other person who's listening to you will be able to understand your attitude, your emotion, and the communication fosters. Now, what intonation involves is, it involves a modulation in the pitch across phrases, sentences, or longer stretches of speech. When you speak, you take eventual pauses, you stress on particular words, you take a moment's pause wherever it is necessary. Now imagine somebody who is not taking any pause, is not really speaking in a way which could have any kind of emotions. The speech in that particular time would become very monotonous, and some monotony is something which is not, it does not hold the conversation. If the other person is not showing interest in what you're saying, you will also eventually lose interest in the conversation, and hence intonation has a very crucial role to play. It can actually indicate whether a statement is a question, or is a command, or a statement of fact, or an expression of surprise. Like, for example, if you want to ask something and you say, can I come in? It will not actually sound like a question, more like a command. When you are asking a question, you are going to ask it in such a way that the voice falls at the end. For example, may I please come in? It's a question, and the person who is going to listen to you would understand that it is a question. When it is a command, they are going to say come in. They are not going to say, will you come in? Again, when you ask these questions, the voice changes. So the changing in your voice is actually what intonation refers to. And intonation has a great importance, because through your speech only you can explain whether you have asked a question with the examiner, or you have given a command, or there was an essence of surprise in your voice. All of this comes through intonation. I hope what is intonation is clear to all of you. Any questions till now?
No, ma'am.
All right. Now, for instance, in English, a rising intonation pattern at the end of a sentence often signals a question, while a falling intonation typically marks a statement. Now, remember, in the speaking section of the IELTS, you cannot really cross-question the examiner. So, do not have the intonation where you sort of exude that there is a question. Most of the times, you will be on the answering spectrum, and the examiner is going to ask you questions. Now, you have to remember that intonation actually just goes beyond marking sentence type. It also acts, it sort of adds hues to what you're saying. It helps in the overall meaning and clarity of the message. Most of the times what we say that let's not talk over the text, let's have a call so that I can understand you better. Why do people prefer calling over texting? Because when you listen to the other person's voice, you can tell by what they are saying, with what emotion they are saying, and that communication actually fosters. So is the case over here. Without intonation, your communication will not hold any essence, because the person who's going to listen to you, if he does not know what emotions are you emoting at a particular point, you will not be able to make the communication happen. So in summary, intonation is the musicality of speech, the melodic patterns created by changes in pitch. Again, pitch is again a high pitch or a low pitch, whether you are asking a question or giving a statement, that all can be understood through understanding the intonation when a person speaks. While speaking and while giving the examination, you have to remember that you need to have intonation. Your voice should not be blank. You need to have the hues of pitch so that the communication becomes easier to transpire. I hope it is clear till now. Now, for example, over here, if the sentence is you're going to the party, now if you have a falling intonation, it will sound like you are going to the party. That means it's a statement, it's not a question. If it is a question, the person might say, are you going to the party? That's a question, it's a falling intonation. If it's a surprise, you might say, are you going to the party? Again, it's a surprising statement. Again, with the changes in the intonation, you can change the meaning of a particular statement through your voice. It highlights that how intonation actually has a significant effect on the communication. Now, how can you actually master the art of intonation? Again, you have to remember intonation is something which you cannot do without, especially in the speaking section, because when you will speak with the examiner, when the examiner is going to pose question to you, and you will be supposed to give an answer, the examiner will not know when you're going to end your speech. For example, whenever let's say the examiner has asked you about your day. Now you have come to the end of your speech or your communication. The examiner would not know when your last sentence is going to come. Here it is important for you to use intonation in such a way and use words like and lastly, so that it shows to the examiner, or it becomes like a signal to the examiner that here is the end of the speech, here is the end of the talk, and you're not going to speak further. Do not stop abruptly. Do not like stop with mid sentences, because the examiner does not really know you, does not really know your speaking pattern like that of a friend that you have. He would know, or she would know how you speak. So she would know where you basically end the sentences. But that is not the case over here, because the examiner is a total stranger for you. So you have to learn to master the art of intonation for situations like this. The first thing that you can imbibe in order to learn intonation is to listen actively. Pay close attention to how native speakers use intonation in various contexts. See how their tone rises and falls in different situations. For example, when they are asking question, when they are making a statement, when they are expressing the emotions of, let's say, grief or anger or even joy, so that you also can learn and emulate it. The best thing that you can do is you can watch a lot of Hollywood movies and have Hollywood movies of different accents, so you know exactly how to use intonation in your voice. The next is practice mimicry. Mimicry is actually a very effective way to learn intonation patterns. What you can do is you can listen to the recordings of native speaker, and when you're listening to them, do not look at the video, try to listen to them and understand what their emotion is at a particular point, so that you can also practice the way they speak and you can learn the intonation better. The next is understanding the purpose. You have to remember that intonation actually serves a purpose. It includes making communication easier. So you have to understand that when you practice the appropriate intonation pattern, you will be able to express yourself better. And hence, intonation is something that you need to learn in order to make the communication transpire smoothly. The next is observe stress and rhythm. Now, intonation is nothing but a culmination of cumulative stress and rhythm. Where do you actually stress? Where do you speak loudly? Where the pitch is going to go high? Where the pitch is going to go low within a particular speech is what we learn through intonation. So when you are listening to let's say a native speaker, see what kind of intonation pattern they use, where they actually raise their voice, where they actually fall their voice, and when you practice all of that, you will be able to better improve your intonation. The next is use rising and falling intonation. Again, we have already spoken about that when you ask a question, the pitch goes high at the end. When you are making a statement, it goes low at the end. So experiment both the rising intonation and the falling intonation pattern. Now, you have to remember, when your intonation rises at the end, it will ask the question. Like, for example, when we say, can you repeat? It means it's a question that you want to ask a question. So when you will listen to the people, the native people, you will have a better idea how to use intonation. Apart from that, what you can do is think while having a conversation. You have to think that the other person does not really have a transcript. he or she does not really know what you're saying, like there is no written form of it. So make sure that when you are having a conversation, A, the pace should be understandable, B, wherever you want to stress, like if you are in a particular situation, if you are angry, of course you're going to stress on particular words. If you are grieving over something, the intonation again falls very low. So you have to understand the different pattern of intonation, and so that you can practice. Make sure that the intonation is not very monotonous, very flat, because suppose the other person is not really using any flexible or any kind of variation in their voice, how robotic would the sound be? How robotic would the conversation become? How boring the whole conversation becomes? So in order to avoid all of that, you have to bring in intonation. The next is record and evaluate yourself. What you can do is take any topic. Okay, for example, let's take a topic of how are you feeling today, and try to record yourself. Try to make the recording at least a minute long, and once you've recorded yourself, you can listen to the way you speak in order to better judge yourself. Or if you want, you can also take a feedback from other native speakers or language teachers who can actually help you to understand where you're lacking, or where exactly is your strength points. The next is practice regularly. While it is very important for you to practice regularly, because if you want to learn a skill, again, intonation is also a skill that you will have to master. It will definitely take some time. Nothing happens overnight. So you have to build in you have to build in the regularity of it. You have to practice regularly. Make sure that you watch native speakers. If you want, you can watch a lot of TED talks, which will help you it will actually help you broaden your horizon, and you will understand things better. It will help you learn new words. It will help you learn different complexity in the language. So the best thing is imitating the natural speakers, imitating the people who actually have a natural accent, learning it, but then you have to set a goal that you're going to do it regularly. Having breaks in between actually hampers the progress. So make sure that you practice regularly. And the next is to seek feedback. Do not hesitate to ask for feedback. See, the difference between a young a young student and an older student is, the young ones are really not afraid of making mistakes, while we are, at most of the times, we don't really communicate in English, because we have this habit that if I go wrong somewhere, if somebody corrects me, that means it's a mortifying situation. Please remember and be mindful that if you make mistakes, you're actually coming away closer, you're coming a door closer to learning new things. So make sure that you seek feedbacks from other. If you have somebody with whom you can have conversation, make sure that maybe every night for 5 to 10 minutes you both communicate in English. Let them teach you where you're going wrong, and make sure that you do this every single day, so that you bring in the regularity, and then you can definitely see the results as well. I hope it is clear till now. Any questions or any doubts that you have? Any doubts till now? Anything that you have not understood? Is everything clear? Quick question, quick doubt. Is everything clear to you all?
No, ma'am. You
Okay.
can proceed.
All right, thank you. The next is importance of intonation in IELTS. We have spoken about why the importance is what is the importance of intonation in everyday conversation and everyday life situation. Now let's talk about the prominence of intonation in IELTS. Now, intonation actually plays a very significant role in the speaking section of the IELTS, where you actually have to communicate with the examiner. They are going to give you questions, they are going to give you situations, and you have to either counter it or maybe add your insights to it. Now here, intonation actually plays a really important role. Why? Because it helps in the communication clarity. Intonation will actually signify the intended message, it intended meaning properly. It will help the examiner to understand what you're trying to say more easily. And even if your vocabulary and grammar is not really perfect, but the way you are presenting it, the way you're saying is correct, the examiner will be able to understand the logic behind your answers. The next is naturalness and fluency. When you have proper intonation, when your speech is more natural and fluent, It will help the examiner to actually assess your ability to communicate effectively. Imagine somebody who uses a filler very frequently. Imagine somebody who cannot really speak sentences without pausing 3 to 4 times midway. What happens here is communication does not progress, because if you are breaking a lot of times in your speech, there is a lot of frustration, and this will not let the communication or let the examiner understand your proficiency level. And hence intonation here is very important, because you can put your standpoints very clearly when you are more fluent and when you are natural, and this will only happen when you have intonation. Like even when I am speaking with you, there are particular areas where I'm stressing more, because I want you to understand that these are the areas where you have to pay more attention as opposed to the other things that I speak. This is the importance, and this is the usage of intonation. It helps the other person to understand what basically is the important facets of what you're saying. So intonation actually brings in more naturalness and fluency. The next is listening comprehension. When you understand the intonation patterns, it is going to also help you in the listening comprehension in the IELTS exam. See, what happens is you're going to listen to a piece of information. When you listen to a piece of information, there can be many things that are involved in it. There can be a statement made. There can also be some kind of a question posed to you. Maybe when you listen clearly to the audio, you also understand whether there is some kind of a confusion or whether it is a statement. Again, it will help you to understand the variation. It will help you to understand the nature of the audio. For example, in the listening section, where they give you a lot of distractors, what they do is, if you listen very carefully, you understand whether this is a statement or a question. For example, when we say, like, initially I was trying to go to the northern side of the road, however I'm going to the eastern side now. Now when you focus on the words and when you focus on the intonation, you remember that the answer is going to change, and this will also help you in the listening comprehension. The next is speaking assessment criteria. In the speaking section of the IELTS, examiner actually assess your intonation as the part of your pronunciation criteria. Pronunciation is one of the band descriptors on which you are going to be marked, and under that, one of the rubrics is your intonation. So you are going to be marked on the way you pronounce, on the way you intonate, and hence intonation is one aspect on which you will be marked. And again, that is the reason why you have to incorporate that in your speech. The next is engagement and interest. When you have somebody who knows how to speak, when you are communicating and the other person is sort of reciprocating what you're saying, is engaging into the conversation by putting in their own insights, by conversation where the person is actually making sure that they are also stressing on a particular word, it makes the conversation very interesting. Now imagine somebody with whom you're trying to bring in a conversation, and the other person just replies by yes. You will not be able to take down the conversation forward, because of course there is no umbrella to it. There is no two-way conversation going. So in order to make your conversation engaging and in order to bring in intrigue in your conversation, you have to bring in your intonation, because this is how the conversation will be able to flourish. This is how you can actually make the conversation interesting. And remember, intonation is one of the key aspects that the examiner look forward to when they have a conversation with you, and through intonation you can actually make the conversation seem more interesting. So these are the importance of having intonation. The next is overall communication skills. Intonation is basically something that you don't really only require for the IELTS exam. It is also important in your real life situations. For example, when you are going to have a conversation with somebody, the other person is naturally going to expect you to bring in something to the table, is going to expect that you also bring your insight by bringing in intonation. And when you develop good intonation during the exam preparation, it will actually help you in making your communication skills better, and it will also benefit you in the longer run, and hence again it will help in the overall communication betterment. The next is conveying emotions and attitude. Of course, over the call also, if your voice is very monotonous, during the interview also, if you're not really having flexibility, or if you're not having variations in the way you speak, you will not be able to convey your true emotions. For example, sometimes when we are angry and yet we are smiling, when we are laughing during our conversation, the other person gets really confused. They would ask you whether you're smiling or whether you're annoyed, or what is the thing that you have in your mind. This actually, the idea is to communicate the true feeling through intonation. Otherwise, understanding becomes a problem, understanding becomes a difficult task to follow, and hence it is important for you to use intonation when you want to communicate the exact idea that you're feeling. Intonation comes at your rescue. These were the certain reasons why intonation is really important. Do you have any questions or any doubts so far? Anything that you haven't understood? Anything that you did not understand from here? All right, if there is no question, then ma'am, can you take forward from here?
Sure, ma'am. Thank you. So,
Excuse me, ma'am.
yes, Divya, please go ahead.
Ma'am, on that day you have told me to write the number, contact number on the what in that group. Sorry, chat box.
Hmm.
And chat box, you have asked me to write my WhatsApp number.
Yes.
I have written, but there was no any call or something from
Let
your
us
side.
know. We are just going to ask the team to get in touch with you. Can you again drop in the text? Can you drop in the
Okay,
digit
I
again?
drop my husband number and you can contact him
Yes, please do.
because the decision will be taken by him only.
Sure, sure, sure. Drop in your digits once again. We are going to ask the team now.
It's I have to send to you, Kashish Alam.
Anyone would be fine.
Any one of us.
Okay.
All right. So I am proceeding ahead. So far, now you've studied one of the more important aspect of the speaking section. That was your intonation. So intonation actually brings the more clarity to your answer. It actually helps the listener to connect with exactly genuinely what you are feeling. So when I talk about the intonation, you can certainly deal it with the part one and the part three of your speaking round. But when it comes to the cue card topic, we actually have to present in a more intonated way. That's where the intonation, all rules and the importance applies over there. Because basically, what is a cue card topic? Here, you will be provided a topic by the examiner. You will be given a minute of a time for its preparation to collect whatever thoughts you can come across with. There will be 3 to 4 questions attached with the card topic. Those are going to act as a helper for you. Remember one thing, those questions are not meant to just, it's not like a question answer round. Those questions act as your helper point so that you can elaborate your story. You can deep dive into your experience pertaining to the topic provided to you. That's the role of your questions provided with the cue card topic. Once a minute of time is over, once you're prepared on your paper using your paper and a pen provided by the examiner will instruct you to begin, and then you need to start answering the question for the cue card round. Now, cue card round is, I would say, probably called as a storytelling round, where you need to narrate your experience related to the topic provided. You have to speak between 1 to 2 minutes of the time. That is one of the things that you need to take care of. Now, since I have to speak continuously for like 2 minutes of the time, though when we listen, okay, 2 minutes is quite a short span of time, but when actually you start practicing on your speaking round, you start working on the requirements of your speaking section. That's where, while answering those kind of, while narrating the story, while telling the story, somehow we miss on paying attention to the intonation. That's why in understanding the intonation, understanding, okay, so the things are important in the cue card round. Let's have a look. Rather than going with the cue card picture round, let us understand how you can describe a picture. So if you are a student who has started your preparation just right now, what you can do is that you can take any picture, maybe the room where you are sitting right now, just learn an art of how to describe the particular room to anyone. Maybe you are describing it to your spouse, to your kids, to your friends, to your family members, anyone. Just get into an art of describing the things. first and foremost, before we jump directly to explain about the room, you can just give a slight idea about the, or I can say, opening statement or a hook statement for the topic that you are going to discuss. So whatever the picture shows, first get a general idea, general overview, what exactly the picture is all about. What is the sentence, what should be your beginning statement that can grab the attention of your listener. If you have listened to the TED Talks, you might have come across, see, they never start directly, oh, I'm going to talk about this topic. They don't begin anything like this. Or maybe even you have heard the speech of anyone, any influential person, they don't directly begin with the word like, I'm here, thank you everyone, I'm here to talk about this and this. That's an atmosphere they create that the listener is attentive to them. They give a good brief introduction, then they start explaining why they are here about. Right? So this is the way you can listen to anyone's and you can just understand how the things work. Next, provide the context. Now provide the background information. So here what I'll say, observe the scene. What is it about? Is it looking, what kind of the scene it is? It's a picture of a room. Is it a picture of a countryside? Is it a picture of landscape? Maybe a skyscrapers, maybe any kind of tourist hotspot. First, understand what exactly is the context of the picture, because this will help your listener to understand what exactly the picture is going to be described here. So if you initially mention, okay, this is the picture of a landscape, so the one thing that the listener mind will strike, okay, now I'm going to understand the landscape view, and he or she will be looking forward to it. Describe the setting. Now, next thing, observe the picture very closely. Observe where exactly the things are located. Means what are the things over there? Let's suppose if I'm describing the room, what are the things that are placed in your room? You can talk about the directions. You can, let's suppose if there is any flower pot kept in your room, you can describe the flower pot and where is it exactly located. So note all those landmarks in your room. And if I'm talking about any of the countryside area, note where, what kind of houses are there. Is there any river or a stream flowing around? Are there any hills or something like that? Notice every single landmark. Identify the objects and the subjects. Now, if there are any people, observe like what are the characters, how many males, females, children, or it's just a group of people or group of youngsters sitting over there chit-chatting with each other. Observe their position, what they are exactly doing. This is how you need to get deep dive into the things when you observe a picture. So the reason why we are taking these 8 steps to understand the things is that when you start answering the cue card round topic, what basically you do, the first thing we start, let's suppose it's a describe a place you recently visited. And our first instance to answer the question is, I'd like to talk about a place I recently visited. That's a very monotonous way went. And when we start answering the question, we actually just, our focus is on 3 to 4 questions provided to us. We forget that we can more deep dive into the things. We can more become more elaborative in explaining the things. Let's suppose the last week you went to Bangalore, right? Or maybe Mumbai. You went to Mumbai. It's not like it's the person you have the better experience what you observed in Mumbai. So do not just limit yourself to the questions that have been asked. You can include more of this. So you can follow these 8 steps into the cue card topic. You can apply this technique where you can work upon, okay, how I went, where I went, what kind of place it is, okay, what exactly with whom you went. Then you can talk about what are the specific things that draws your attention towards Mumbai. What's the best thing you did in Mumbai, or any adventurous activities you tried out, because it's a coastal area, so you can just talk about that. Describe the mood of the atmosphere, how you felt, what was like that it kept you refreshed, it kept you energetic, what is the feeling approximately over there. So all you have to do is collectively include all these 8 points in your cue card round. That's where we have to deep dive into the story. So practically the idea is that if you're new to the cue card and if you are not able to understand how exactly to approach it, then the simplest I would suggest is that you can start narrating the things that are around you. Maybe you can start from a simple glass of water itself. If it's placed in front of you, or maybe a cup, practice from your end, record your answer and think how I've described. Will it sound monotonous if I send it to someone? How it will sound like? So you can start from very small things. It will help you to actually analyze what should be my flow of answering the question. What must I include? How can I begin and how can I conclude the entire thing? So that from beginning till the end, my listener is very attentive to my answer part. Now let's have a look. So these are the elements of the picture description that have been summarized. Do the introduction, give an opening statement, bring in the layout, describe the people, what exactly they are doing, how's the atmosphere of the picture, is it gloomy, is it dark, is it the light mood, or the people are depressed or sad, or people are waiting in a line, or describe the atmosphere of the picture, your opinions, your feelings, and your emotions. That's the most important thing, how exactly you express yourself. That's what the important point is. And then comparisons and the conclusions are the ending part. Let's suppose this is a picture provided to you. The first thing that comes to in your head the moment you look at the picture is that you can easily see it's a countryside area. With back at the hills, you can see the majestic hills. You can see some green lush trees. There is a winding road, some of the houses over there. Some birds are flying. This is the general observation, what we call. So here, what vocabulary you need to use in order to begin your answer? How generally speak? We directly start with oh, I can see a picture of. That's the first thing we do say. Now that's the thing we need to change when it comes to the picture description. I can say in this picture, I can see. The picture depicts, the picture shows, this is a picture of a countryside area. Any of the three ways you can begin, that actually is a proper way to answer the question. Right? Now layout, set the layout of the entire picture. Describe it with the help of the directions. On the left, on the right, on both sides of the road, across the road, besides the road. Bring in the type of vocabulary in order to describe the specific landmarks given in the picture. Now, describe the people. When I say describe the people, so you can include how many people are there, who are they? Are they your friends? Are they your neighbors? They are your family members, colleagues? What are they doing exactly? You can just describe each and every person. What are they wearing? Wearing is something you can avoid, obviously. This is not going to play a much role in your thing. Because I'm explaining you with the context of the cue card topic. So obviously, if in a cue card topic you're talking about you went to a place with your family members, so you can include we were all like 7 people in total. Everyone was enjoying. My parents were doing this. My spouse was doing this. My kids were doing this. You can just describe about it. Next, how was the atmosphere? Like, these are actually the points that have been written, the feelings that have been written that you can perfectly utilize in order to give a concluding statement in your cue card topic, where you can say overall it was a memorable experience. It was a positive experience, funny, happy. I was excited. I was on cloud 9. It overall the area had the pleasant atmosphere. I did had a strange feeling initially, then but after the resolution of the situation, I was completely relaxed. This is what exactly the mood atmosphere you can set for the picture, or you can use it as a part of your concluding statement in the cue card. Your opinion or observation. When it comes to your opinion, you need to stay like this. In my opinion, let's suppose if this is the picture, you have to clearly say, in my opinion, the people are sitting on the roller coaster and they are enjoying. Fine. This, so or you can include perhaps, you can start. It seems to me that people are enjoying and going on a bumpy roller coaster ride. They are looking forward to it, how enjoys their ride can be. So this is how, once you get a picture, include some of the ways in which you can begin, and then you can start your own story. This is the entire crux, that how you can relate your picture description with the cue card topic. This is just the initial point. Now, how we need to work on the intonation, this is what we are going to learn. This was a picture I displayed initially. Now, this is something that have been written, and this is the way we need to actually explain. Because when it comes to the speaking round topic, you need to make sure that you are using the vocabularies, your grammar is good, your sentence structure is good, you are bringing in some kind of means the fluency and the organization. Everything has to be good and properly organized in order to result in a smooth speaking one. So here, see, now if the layout was in this picture, I can see a countryside area with majestic hills stretching as far as the eye can see. Right? Now I'll take a small pause and then I'll move ahead with the next line. In the foreground is a narrow winding path surrounded by grasses and flowers. The vibrant colors of the flowers contrast beautifully with the lush, deep green of the grass. A rustic wooden fence, weathered by time, runs alongside the path, marking the boundary between the fields and the distant forest. Moreover, I can see the sky above is painted with soft hues of blue and yellow, casting a warm golden glow over everything. Birds chirp happily, and the air is filled with sweet scent of nature. This is something that has been written, but if you see the way the reading is to be done, this is exactly how you should read. But actually, how do we read? Now here this is. In this picture, I can see a countryside area with majestic hills stretching as far as the eye gets. This is something the way we read. And that's exactly the tone comes up in your cue card topic. It sounds like, sometimes it seems like you have memorized the answer. The only reason is that we speak in so monotonous way that end up making the examiner or the listener confused. You might have heard someone maybe in your life that maybe at the school time, maybe in your office time, giving the presentation, you might have heard some of the people, they give very monotonous tone. They just, just keep on speaking and speaking and speaking. It sounds like that they're just reading the things. That's where you have to work on. We need to make sure our listener is grasping the things of what we say. Exactly. So when I'm saying to work on picture description, maybe us describing a piece of cup and kept at your home, work on the intonation part. Work on where I should break my breath. In the short, I always tell my students also this. Everyone does have their favorite singer, right? Maybe anyone, like whatever genre of music you listen, you have one favorite singer. Now just imagine if that singer of yours sing the song in one tone for the next 3 to 4 minutes of the time, who is gonna listen to that people? No one, right? The songs make no sense. Therefore, in order to add the depth into the song, into the music, they actually know when to play with their voice. The voice which we call as voice modulation, in order to make sure where they have to go with the high pitch, where do they have to go with the low pitch, right? So this is the thing we need to take care of when we are dealing with the cue card round. I understand there are more requirements to the cue card topic, but this is the initial thing. You can practice it from the round one of the questions. You can take the help of a trainer. You can go ahead. Or another suggestion is that you can take any of the what I would say children's storybooks. It's plethora of books are available online. You don't have to purchase in person. You can start mastering the art of intonation over there, because those kids book contains actually a lot of saying statements, the question marks, the exclamatory marks, commas, and the full stop that actually will slowly and steadily over the period of time, they will amplify your speaking route. This is how you should deal with the annotation, and this is how you need to work on mastering the art of intonation. So far, any question, anything to ask? Anyone? Anyone? No questions at all? Okay, so this is where I was correlating the picture description with the IELTS cue card. First, you need to understand the IELTS speaking criteria, that you need to understand what are the 4 parameters, that is fluency and coherence, lexical resource, grammatical range, and your pronunciation. Familiarize yourself with this criteria to understand in depth what is the exact requirement of your writing, where you are currently standing at your band score, where your trainer is going to help you a lot with the same. Practice the picture description. As I already mentioned, start by small things rather than working directly on the cue card topic. Choose random images. Even if you're traveling, you can just look around the area where you are traveling. You can just in your head maybe just start describing the things. Okay, how should I describe this particular thing? If the person is sitting, how should I describe the person right now sitting in front of me? Get into this will help you to work on how to get into the details, which is one of the most challenging part that the student preparing for IELTS do face. How to get into the details. The picture description is the best way through which you can help. That is going to help you. Link picture description with the cue card topic. Now, identify some of the common topics like traveling, hobbies, your favorite thing, maybe uh, any particular electronic gadgets or any place that you visited. Link the picture description with that. Fine. So try to have an image in your mind, and so that you can be directly correlated with the cue card topic. For example, if the picture shows people hiking in the mountains, you can relate it to the cue card topic of outdoor activities or traveling experiences. For example, if the question comes, describe an outdoor activity you enjoyed the most, right? And if you want to describe something like that, you can include the word. The people were hiking in the mountains, or you went to a hiking on the mountain. You can include this word. Expand vocabulary. So while describing pictures, make an effort to use a variety of vocabulary related to the cue card topics, as we have already taken one of the samples. Lexical resource is one of the important area where your 25% marks is going to be depend upon the type of vocabulary or different kinds of words you are using in your cue card round. Practice, practice, practice is all I can say. The more you will practice, time-based practice is very important when it comes to cue card topic. Because what you can simply do is that once you decided that even I have to describe a picture or I have to work on a cue card round, set a timer of 2 minutes on your clock, on your recorder, speak, and the moment the 2 minutes time is over, click on the stop button and analyze. Were you able to explain for the 2 minutes completely? It goes beyond, or you are like there is a lot of time left still for the 2 minutes to get over. And if you have spoken for 2 minutes, it's going beyond, then do please check, have you covered all the things? Has your story completed or not? Or there are some 10 parts that have been left out. So this is how you need to work on the practice area when it comes to the speaking cue card round topic. So far, anyone has any question about the picture description, about the cue card topic, anything? Anyone? Nothing? Okay. So, all right. So in case if you don't have any questions, then definitely we can end up this session. But before you go ahead with that, the students, Divya, team will hopefully connect with you. And rest of the people, if you are planning to enroll in one of our batches, do let us know. So there are some pre-requirements as we have been highlighting that if you are an academic student, then please, for any of the students, whether academic or general, you need to share your passport images with us, so that as a part of a confirmation part, so that we can enroll into one of our ongoing batches. The next part is that you need to book your exam slot through us. And for general students, there is a certain criteria that apart from sharing the passport for the enrollment purpose, you need to make sure that the slot booking is to be done prior. Means maybe even if you're planning to take the exam 10 or 15 days later, or maybe a month later, the exam has to be priorly booked with us. So please, this is the requirement of our company in order to get you ahead with the batches enroll part. Okay, so you have to pre-book the slot with us. Then we are going to provide you the classes. This is for the general students I'm talking about.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes, Divya.
There is no charges for classes, na?
No, Divya, no
Which
charges for classes, no charges for materials as well. No, we are not going to charge you for anything. All you need to do is to don't just pre-book. You have to pre-book you are for the general candidate, right?
yeah, general.
Yeah, okay. So all your Divya, you need to pre-book your exam through us. Even we are not going to charge any extra money for booking the exam as well. One of our team members will sit with you, okay, in a Zoom call, and directly they will be booking through the Zoom in front of you. The paper will be booked. You will be only paying the amount that IDP charges. That's it.
Okay,
That's
and the
all.
date you will give, or we will give you the
You
date.
can just decide the date from your end. You need to connect with the team, and the team will help you out with the same.
Okay, ma'am. Okay.
Okay. All right.
Okay,
Fine.
ma'am. I have sent my husband contact number. Please call him for the all the
Okay.
queries of people.
Sure.
He has some
Sure,
queries.
Divya.
है ना?
I'll ask the counselor to get in touch with you. Okay. This is a number that you share. So I'll
Yes,
ask one
ma'am.
of us to get in touch with you. Okay.
Yes, ma'am. Definitely, because I have shared 3 days before. There was no call, nothing. So that's why today I have shared another number.
Okay. You have shared the other number. So your husband will be the one who is going to deal with your enrollment and all thing.
Yes, yes, yes. Definitely, he will be doing everything for
Okay.
me.
Can you tell me the name of your husband, please?
He is Narendra Kumar. You can, and his nickname is Monu.
Okay, Narendra Kumar. Okay, fine. So I'll ask one of the team members to get in touch with him. Okay.
Okay, okay,
Right. All right, Divya. Thank you. Thank you
okay.
everyone for
Good
joining
evening.
the session. We'll connect on Monday for the classes. Enjoy your Sunday. Okay.
पेपर किसी पर हो